The drama begins at a grand party where many influential people are present. CEO Mr. Chang arrives with his wife, while the male lead, Shinchai, also attends with his assistant. When Shinchai hears that Min Hoi, a company director, is coming, he freezes for a moment. Soon after, Min Hoi enters the party confidently and greets Mr. Chang, suggesting they drink together. Mr. Chang stops her, reminding her how she embarrassed him 5 years ago and demands an apology. Shockingly, Min Hoi swallows her pride, sits on his lap, and endures public humiliation. Mr. Chang's wife deliberately spills a drink on her and insults her further. Unable to watch anymore, Shinchai steps in to protect Min Hoi. A flashback reveals that Shinchai and Min Hoi were once lovers. Outside the party, Shinchai confronts her bitterly, accusing her of caring only about money and hurting him in the past. Min Hoi asks him to forget what happened 5 years ago, but Shinchai coldly walks away. Later, Min Hoi calls Mr. Chang, reminding him to keep his promise. The truth is revealed when she visits her sick son Kwon in the hospital. Everything she did at the party was to secure his surgery. Shinchai later visits the hospital for his own checkup and unknowingly crosses paths with Kwon. Min Hoi hides when she sees Shinchai, but when a stretcher nearly hits him, she instinctively pulls him away. Shinchai mocks her concern, believing she is pretending. Later, Shinchai learns that a new project belongs to Min Hoi's company and immediately cancels it out of anger. Min Hoi investigates and discovers Shinchai is now the CEO. When she tries to explain her project, he ignores her completely. The next day, Shinchai goes on a blind date arranged by his senior but gets bored. Min Hoi suddenly appears and pretends to be his girlfriend, saving him from the awkward situation. Though she helps him, Shinchai brushes her off once again. At home, Min Hoi talks to Kwon about his upcoming surgery. Kwon asks for a dad like others have, which deeply hurts her. Soon after, Kwon meets Shinchai at the hospital and innocently asks if he can be his father. Shinchai refuses, but hearing Kwon call Min Hoi mom leaves him shaken. Kwon's surgery is successful, and Min Hoi finally breathes in relief. Later, she hacks into Shinchai's office computer to fix a problem, leading to another tense argument between them about wasted time and unresolved pain from the past. Despite everything, Shinchai gives her 10 minutes to explain her project, and she convinces him. He agrees, but only if she competes fairly with Chang's company. As Shinchai struggles with his health, he grows jealous seeing Min Hoi close to Dr. Zhou. During a hospital visit, Kwon calls Shinchai Mr. Beautiful, triggering painful memories from Shinchai's past involving his former girlfriend and Min Hoi's mysterious role back then. Shinchai wrongly assumes Dr. Zhou is Min Hoi's husband and lashes out, hurting everyone involved. Later, Shinchai's blood sugar drops, and he unexpectedly meets Min Hoi and Kwon at a shop. Kwon bravely defends his mother, and a playful moment follows when Shinchai pretends to fight back with a toy gun. When Shinchai notices Kwon's surgery marks, he grows suspicious about the child's age and identity, but Min Hoi avoids answering. Min Hoi later learns her project was rejected while Chang's was approved. Shinchai initially claims it was a fair vote but later discovers cheating and orders a recheck. As Min Hoi secretly investigates the hospital director, Shinchai repeatedly appears at critical moments, protecting her without admitting it. Despite their constant clashes, small caring gestures like Shinchai covering her with his coat hint that his feelings are not gone. At another party, Min Hoi drinks to protect Shinchai's health. Drunk, they finally talk about the past. Min Hoi reveals she was the one who helped him when he was hospitalized years ago, but he never saw her when he woke up. The misunderstanding remains unresolved. During an important meeting, Min Hoi rushes to the hospital again for Kwon. Shinchai lets her go without stopping her. Later, Shinchai visits the hospital and finds Kwon alone. When Kwon asks why he hurt his mother, Shinchai sincerely apologizes. Kwon forgives him, marking a small but meaningful turning point in their relationship. Shinchai finds Kwon sitting alone and asks why he is there. Kwon explains that Dr. Joe made him wear a heart device, and because of that, other kids avoid playing with him. Wanting to cheer the child up, Shinchai comes up with an idea. While Min-hoi searches for Kwon in the hospital, Shinchai gives Kwon an Iron Man cover, making him feel confident and cool. Kwon admits that staying in the hospital is not hard for him, but it is painful for his mother. When Shinchai asks if Min-hoi has dated anyone in recent years, Kwon says no and repeats that's why he wanted Shinchai to be his dad. Shinchai later brings Kwon back to Min-hoi, and Kwon excitedly shows off his Iron Man cover. The next day, Kwon becomes popular at school because of the cover. Min-hoi visits Shinchai's office to thank him and brings him coffee. Shinchai apologizes for what happened 5 years ago and suggests they forgive each other and move on. Min-hoi feels relieved that he no longer hates her and tells him she has resubmitted the project proposal. Later, Shinchai buys Kwon an Iron Man toy, which makes the boy extremely happy. Soon after, Shinchai discovers from hospital records that Kwon is actually his son. When he confronts Min-hoi, she explains that he hated her in the past, so she raised Kwon alone. That night, Shinchai shows up at Min-hoi's house and announces that he will live there too. Min-hoi tries to send him away, but Kwon wants Shinchai to stay. She gives him a tiny room, and their awkward cohabitation begins. Living together leads to constant arguments. Shinchai complains about Min-hoi's coffee machine, her cooking, and her habits, while Min-hoi reminds him that this is her home. Dr. Joe visits with breakfast, making Shinchai jealous. Min-hoi sets clear rules no one should know Shinchai is staying there. Despite the fights, Shinchai slowly adjusts and even eats her burnt food without complaint. Their daily lives become more tangled. They accidentally take each other's laptops to work, argue again, and later awkwardly hold hands and hug when Kwon innocently asks them to act like other parents. Shinchai spends money freely on Kwon, which worries Min-hoi, but Shinchai insists he only wants his son to be happy. Kwon wishes for all three of them to live together peacefully, touching both adults. One night, Min-hoi helps Shinchai fix his frozen laptop. When she asks why he is staying, Shinchai says it's only for Kwon. Min-hoi makes it clear she will never give Kwon away, and Shinchai assures her he has no such intention. Later, at a party, Min-hoi defends a girl, but is insulted when someone questions Kwon's father. Shinchai arrives, slaps the man, and angrily asks Min-hoi why his son has to face such shame. Rumors soon spread after photos of Min-hoi and Shinchai appear online. Min-hoi investigates and proves that Mr. Den leaked them. Shinchai secretly forces him to apologize, but Min-hoi gets angry when she finds out Shinchai interfered. Their argument grows worse when Shinchai lies about their past to protect her reputation, making Min-hoi furious. Despite the tension, softer moments continue. One night, Shinchai tells Kwon a story, and all three fall asleep together. The next morning is awkward, especially when Kwon innocently comments on them sleeping side by side. Dr. Joe visits again, increasing Shinchai's jealousy. When Kwon calls both men dad, the rivalry becomes obvious. In the end, Shinchai feels like an outsider in Min-hoi's house. Kwon asks Shinchai to sleep with him again, but Shinchai refuses. When he questions Min-hoi about it, she brushes it off, pretending it was just his imagination. Even though they deny it, their bond continues to grow stronger beneath the surface. In the next scene, Min-hoi's boss suddenly stops her project, saying it won't bring fast profits. He gives her one last chance to find an investor or shut it down. Frustrated but determined, Min-hoi agrees and storms out. Later, she texts Shinchai and invites him to dinner. When he arrives, she serves him food, and he jokingly asks if she poisoned it. To prove him wrong, she tastes it first. Shinchai eats too, though he clearly doesn't like it. Finally, Min-hoi reveals her real reason she needs his investment. Shinchai refuses, saying he has already invested elsewhere. Min-hoi pushes back, promising to finish the project in 2 years, then boldly asks for just 2 weeks to prove herself. Shinchai gives no clear answer. Later, Shinchai is playing outside with Kwon when Dr. Joe arrives and warns Kwon not to overexert himself. Shinchai jokingly asks the doctor to check his heartbeat too. A pizza delivery arrives, but Dr. Joe says Kwon doesn't like pizza and instead cooks noodles for him. As Dr. Joe prepares to leave, Shinchai asks if he likes Min Hoi. When Joe stays silent, Shinchai takes it as a yes. Dr. Joe then questions whether Shinchai is there for Kwon or Min Hoi. Shinchai's silence makes the answer clear. That night, Min Hoi comes home exhausted. Shinchai asks why she sent Dr. Joe over, knowing he was there. Seeing her working late, he tells her to rest. Instead, Min Hoi shows him her project and asks him to point out mistakes. Shinchai teasingly refuses until she praises him. After some playful arguing, they sit together reviewing her work, slowly growing closer. A countdown montage follows as Min Hoi rushes to complete the project within 14 days. On the final day, Kwon video calls Min Hoi to ask if she has eaten. Shinchai is beside her but stays out of view. Later, Min Hoi goes out for drinks with Sayo and drinks too much, ending up with stomach pain. Unable to manage alone, Sayo calls Dr. Joe. When Dr. Joe brings Min Hoi home, Shinchai sees them and pulls Min Hoi toward himself, saying he'll take care of her. He helps her to bed, gives her medicine and lemon water. Half asleep, Min Hoi pulls him closer and suddenly kisses him, shocking Shinchai. Though she quickly falls asleep, the moment stays on his mind all night. The next morning, Min Hoi wakes with stomach pain and sees Shinchai working outside. She convinces herself the kiss was just a dream. When she asks Shinchai what happened last night, he says nothing until she mentions their deal. Shinchai spits out his coffee in shock. He then reveals he has decided to invest in her project and gives her 6 extra months to complete it properly. In the final scene, Kwon video calls Shinchai while out with Min Hoi. When Kwon's balloons get stuck in a tree, Min Hoi tries to reach them but fails. Shinchai arrives just in time and brings them down. Overjoyed, Kwon hugs him, and the three spend a happy day together, enjoying rides and laughter. Kwon is playing with his toys when he suddenly runs off to look at something else. Min Hoi smiles and tells Shinchai that he has done so much for Kwon, so she wants to give him a small gift too. She buys cotton candy, and the three enjoy it together before heading home. Zayo sees them laughing happily and feels upset seeing Min Hoi so close to Shinchai. He calls out to her and gives her a gift. Kwon, who is standing with Shinchai, is asked to call his mom, and Min Hoi quickly comes over. Later at home, Min Hoi looks at the shoes Zayo gave her. Kwon asks if Dr. Joe gave them, and Shinchai sarcastically comments that Dr. Joe's taste is terrible just like Min Hoi's. Realizing Shinchai is jealous, Min Hoi teases him by trying on the shoes. Soon after, Shinchai goes shopping to buy shoes for Min Hoi. He dislikes all the high heels and chooses flat shoes instead, saying they suit her better. The next morning, Min Hoi is late for work. Shinchai packs food for her and brings the shoes, claiming they were given by a friend. When Min Hoi questions why a friend would give him women's shoes, Shinchai brushes it off and insists she wear them. He tells her flat shoes are better than heels. As they stand close, Min Hoi suddenly runs away. Kwon teasingly asks if Shinchai is feeling shy. Shinchai denies it, blaming the heat instead. Kwon then tells him not to be jealous of Dr. Joe because his mom isn't interested in him at all. Later, Min Hoi goes to pick Kwon up from school. Kwon asks why she came, and she jokingly says she feels jealous. Kwon laughs and says adults are always jealous, then reveals that Shinchai was jealous of Dr. Joe too. As they leave, another child's mother invites them to a school event where parents and kids will attend together and bring homemade food. That night, Min Hoi watches cupcake recipes. Kwon asks her to invite Shinchai to the event as well, and she agrees. When Shinchai comes home, she invites him, but he says he has a business trip and will be gone for 2 to 3 days. Min Hoi tries baking cupcakes, but nothing goes right. Kwon takes photos of her failed attempts and sends them to Shinchai, explaining everything about the school event. The cupcakes don't rise, and smoke fills the house. Dr. Joe notices and checks on her. Seeing the burnt cupcakes, he offers to bake them himself and follows the recipe carefully. Meanwhile, Kwon goes shopping with Shinchai's assistant and tells Shinchai over the phone that his mom couldn't bake properly. At the kindergarten event, Min Hoi's cupcakes are ignored, making Kwon very sad. Just then, Shinchai arrives and invites everyone to bake together. Min Hoi watches him quietly as he starts baking. Afterward, Shinchai eats Min Hoi's cupcakes and suggests they bake one together for themselves. As they bake, Dr. Joe arrives with a cake for Min Hoi, but leaves after seeing her happily with Shinchai. Together with Kwon, they bake a family cake and enjoy the moment. A flashback from 5 years ago shows Min Hoi and Shinchai watching a couple. Min Hoi says she doesn't like it when people hide rings in cakes. Shinchai suddenly leaves, and after waiting, Min Hoi grows worried and calls him. Shinchai says he has a surprise. When she hears an accident sound, she panics, thinking something happened to him. But he appears safely with flowers. She cries in relief, and he reassures her. Back in the present, Min Hoi and Shinchai sit beside a sleeping Kwon. Min Hoi says Kwon is exhausted because he's been telling everyone Shinchai is his dad. Feeling hungry, they eat noodles together. Shinchai eats quickly and admits he rushed back from a business trip without eating so he wouldn't be late. Min Hoi thanks him, but Shinchai says Kwon is his son too, so thanks aren't needed. Later at the hospital, Dr. Joe talks to Min Hoi about her project. Shinchai feels uncomfortable and steps between them when Dr. Joe gets close. During another moment, a power cut brings Min Hoi and Shinchai very close, almost leading to a kiss before a guard interrupts them. Both feel embarrassed. That night, Shinchai gives Min Hoi a report with important information for her project. She realizes it's his medical report and is shocked. Shinchai warns her to keep it a secret, revealing that the CEO of Blue Company has a serious heart condition. Min Hoi thanks him deeply. Shinchai's assistant urges him to get a full checkup. Min Hoi agrees and asks him to stay at her house, but Shinchai suggests she and Kwon stay at his instead. Eventually, he goes for his checkup with Min Hoi. Lying in the machine, Shinchai admits he feels trapped and afraid. Min Hoi holds his hand, telling him she does the same for Kwon to give him strength. Comforted by her presence, Shinchai slowly relaxes. Dr. Joe believes Kwon needs a medical checkup. Min Hoi explains that she also brought Shinchai for his examination. The three talk in the room, and Dr. Joe offers Shinchai another room to rest. Shinchai refuses, saying it breaks hospital rules and that there is enough space here. Min Hoi also decides to stay. When Dr. Joe doesn't leave, Shinchai pretends to have a headache and asks for silence, forcing Dr. Joe to step out. Min Hoi follows him, which upsets Shinchai. She later goes to buy chocolate for Shinchai, but when she returns, he is gone. She starts working and soon falls asleep. Shinchai comes back, gently adjusts her position, and notices she's pretending to sleep. He sits in front of her and slowly eats the chocolate so she'll open her eyes. When she finally does, he teases her, saying she can't even fake sleeping properly. They talk about Sunin, Shinchai's real girlfriend who passed away. Min Hoi admits everything Sunin said about him was true and never imagined discussing her with him like this. A flashback shows Min Hoi liking a bracelet in a shop, but it can only be won through a lucky draw, which she loses. After she leaves sadly, Shinchai secretly buys the bracelet for her. Later, Shinchai waits for Min Hoi at a restaurant. She arrives with Kwon, and Shinchai gifts her lipstick. She's surprised he knows her shade, then realizes it's because her lipstick stain was once on his shirt. After dinner, Min Hoi steps outside to take a call, and Kwon wanders off. Shinchai and Min Hoi panic and search for him, even thinking of calling the police. Just then, Kwon calls back. He explains that he wanted to buy his mom a gift like his dad did, but ran out of money and got scared. At home, Shinchai praises Min Hoi for raising Quan so well and teaching him to remember her phone number. Min Hoi says Quan is happy because of Shinchai and suggests they raise him together. Holding Shinchai's hand, she gets his agreement. She accidentally reads some documents and realizes they are Quan's custody papers. She panics. Meanwhile, Shinchai arrives and scolds his assistant for bringing those papers without permission. When Min Hoi sees Shinchai, she explodes in anger, tells him to leave, and later throws him out after packing his belongings. She says he can insult her or take anything from her life, but never talk about taking Quan away. Shinchai tries to explain he only wanted Quan's attention, not custody, but she refuses to listen. Quan later asks if Shinchai will ever come back, and Min Hoi lies, saying he's gone on a business trip. Unable to sleep, Shinchai later comes to see Min Hoi. Through a series of misunderstandings, Dr. Zhou visits her instead and learns about the fight. Outside, Quan asks Shinchai's assistant if Shinchai is really away, and the assistant reassures him. Dr. Zhou jokingly suggests marriage to help with Quan's custody, but Min Hoi politely refuses, saying she values him as a friend. Later, Shinchai speaks to Quan on a video call and promises to return soon and take him out, making Quan happy. When Shinchai learns Min Hoi has a business meeting, he secretly decides to follow her and make special arrangements for her, including a private room. Quan enjoys himself a lot, but Min Hoi soon realizes that Shinchai arranged everything behind the scenes. Feeling uncomfortable, she leaves with Quan. When Shinchai reaches the same hotel room, the staff apologizes, saying they couldn't stop them. As he heads upstairs, he hears Min Hoi's voice and walks toward her. Suddenly, a woman rushes from behind, hugs Shinchai, and kisses him. Min Hoi and Quan are both shocked and upset. Shinchai tries to go to Quan, but Min Hoi pulls him away. When Shinchai asks her to listen, the woman starts getting friendly with Quan. Quan innocently asks who she is and why she kissed his dad, saying his mom has never done that. Smiling, the woman asks Shinchai to introduce her. Shinchai explains that she is his elder sister, Chindi. Hearing this, Min Hoi finally relaxes. They sit together and talk. Chindi struggles with Chinese idioms and often says them wrong, which Quan corrects. This makes Chindi instantly adore him. She invites them to dinner, and though they first refuse, she insists, so Min Hoi agrees. During dinner, Min Hoi shares stories about Shinchai's childhood. Chindi tells Quan to call her aunt, and when he does, she finds him even more lovable. When Shinchai steps away, Chindi asks Min Hoi how hard it must be to raise Quan alone. Min Hoi says Shinchai once asked her the same thing. Then Chindi uses a wrong idiom that sounds insulting, making it seem like Min Hoi is weak and will lose. Misunderstanding her words, Min Hoi gets angry, takes Quan, and leaves. Later, Shinchai confronts Chindi about what she said. Chindi explains everything, including the idiom mistake. Shinchai realizes Min Hoi misunderstood and thought Chindi was calling her an enemy. Chindi then teasingly tells him that he should marry Min Hoi because she can see he likes her. Shinchai denies it, but Chindi laughs, saying he can't fool her. Back in their room, Quan asks Min Hoi if she fought with his dad. She says no, but Quan asks why adults never admit their mistakes. Min Hoi gently asks him if he had to choose between staying with her or his dad, what would he do? Quan immediately replies that he would choose his mom. In the final scene, Shinchai comes looking for Quan and asks where Min Hoi is. Quan says she's in the washroom and quietly adds that adults should learn how to keep their promises. Quan complains that Shinchai promised to take him camping. When Min Hoi arrives, she scolds Quan for opening the door without asking, but he softly replies that it wasn't a stranger, it was his dad. She falls silent, sends Quan to his room, and asks Shinchai why he came. Shinchai shows her some documents and assures her that he has no intention of taking Quan away. The custody will remain with her, with only one condition, that he can meet Quan once a week. Relieved and happy, Min Hoi agrees. Quan overhears this and excitedly asks Shinchai to take him out soon. Later, Min Hoi takes Kwon out, but not for camping. Kwon is upset and refuses to go. Just then, Chayu calls Kwon and hints at a surprise. Soon, a car arrives filled with camping supplies. Kwon's mood instantly changes, and he happily jumps in. At the seaside, as they unpack, Min Hoi calls Chayu and realizes she didn't arrange everything, making her understand who is really behind the plan. Shinchai arrives at the same location for a business meeting. Spotting Min Hoi and Kwon, he walks over. When Min Hoi tells him to focus on work, he says the deal is already done and sends his staff away. He asks to spend some time with Kwon, but Min Hoi hesitates. Kwon begs her, and she finally agrees. As Shinchai and Kwon set up the tent together, Min Hoi watches them grow closer. Kwon even brings her a chair to sit on, but it suddenly breaks, and she falls landing on Shinchai. Embarrassed, she quickly pushes him away and stands up. That evening, Min Hoi secretly records a video of Shinchai and Kwon playing together. Later, while Kwon sleeps in the tent, Min Hoi questions Shinchai, suspecting he followed them on purpose. Shinchai insists he came for work, though he admits he sent the camping car through CMU. Min Hoi warns him that since he already met Kwon twice this week, he won't be allowed to meet him next week. Shinchai argues that this meeting doesn't count because it was for business. Later, Shinchai carries a sleeping Kwon back to the hotel. Chayu calls Min Hoi, sounding upset and saying she's in the same hotel. Min Hoi goes to meet her and asks Shinchai to keep Kwon with him for a while. When she returns, Kwon is happily playing with Shinchai and refuses to leave. Min Hoi gently says she's tired and needs to sleep because she has an important presentation the next day. Shinchai refuses to leave and suggests that Min Hoi prepare her lecture there while he spends time with Kwon. Exhausted, Min Hoi falls asleep while working. Shinchai gently watches her, touches her softly, and carefully lays her on the bed. When Min Hoi wakes up, she finds him very close, almost about to kiss her. Just then, Kwon turns in his sleep, and both of them quickly pull away. Embarrassed, Min Hoi says she should take Kwon to her room, but Shinchai tells her to rest and quietly leaves for another room. At the event, all three arrive together. Shinchai takes Kwon and tells Min Hoi to focus on her presentation. When the program begins, Min Hoi learns her speech has been cancelled. She refuses to give up, and the organizer finally allows her one last chance. Even though she isn't called on stage as planned, Min Hoi stands up at the end and confidently presents her project, impressing everyone with her clarity and passion. Later, Min Hoi searches for Kwon and finds a gift Shinchai left behind. She messages him to thank him, teasing that only someone with his poor taste would choose such a gift. At the party, Min Hoi wears the dress Shinchai gave her. When Chang's assistant approaches Kwon and speaks badly about Min Hoi, claiming Kwon has no father, Shinchai steps forward and firmly declares that he is Kwon's father. He apologizes to the guests and takes Min Hoi and Kwon away. Outside, Kwon runs ahead playfully, and Min Hoi and Shinchai chase him together, holding hands. That night, Min Hoi drinks too much and emotionally questions Shinchai about his feelings. Before he can answer, she becomes sick. The next morning, embarrassed but determined, Min Hoi looks for him. She overhears Shinchai role-playing a story where both of them are characters, expressing regret over the 5 years they lost. Moved, Min Hoi listens as Shinchai apologizes for wasting that time and gives her the bracelet he bought years ago, proving he never forgot her. Suddenly, a man named Chen appears and accuses Min Hoi of causing his sister Sunnin's death. Shocked, Min Hoi learns Sunnin was Chen's sister. A flashback reveals the past misunderstanding. Shinchai believed Min Hoi lied to him about Sunnin because he was ill, while Min Hoi only wanted to protect him. In the present, Chen insists Min Hoi pushed Sunnin. Shinchai asks Min Hoi directly, but her pain shows she knows he never truly trusted her. Determined to clear her name, Min Hoi takes them to the accident site. A witness from the bus finally speaks, explaining that Min Hoi tried to save Sunnin, but Sunnin moved back on her own, and Min Hoi was pulled away to safety. Realizing the truth, Chen understands that Min Hoi tried her best. Overcome with guilt, Min Hoi apologizes for not being able to save Sunan, and Chen finally apologizes to her. Chen finally admits that he wrongly accused Min Hoi and asks why his sister went back during the accident. Min Hoi points to the photo in his hand, explaining that Sunan returned to save that picture. She gently tells Chen to think of her as his sister from now on, which comforts him. Shinchai watches the scene from behind, smiling quietly. Later, Shinchai tries to talk to Min Hoi, but she avoids him. He asks why she is still keeping her distance now that the truth is out. Min Hoi replies that he only believed her after everything was proven, then walks away. Shinchai finds her again and confesses his feelings, saying he wants to be with her and Quan. Min Hoi refuses, saying their relationship ended 5 years ago and now only exists because of Quan. Shinchai then takes Quan out to watch a new animated movie. Quan agrees happily and asks his mom for permission. Min Hoi allows Quan to go but refuses to join them, teasing Shinchai by saying she's going on a date instead. Determined to win her back, Shinchai sends flowers to her office, but Min Hoi is allergic and gives them away. He then sends her a special cup, claiming water will taste sweeter in it, but she rejects that too. At Quan's swimming lesson, Shinchai arrives to teach him since Chen is busy. When Shinchai jumps into the pool, Min Hoi looks away shyly. Trying to impress Quan, Shinchai swims too fast and suddenly feels chest pain. Min Hoi panics and scolds him for being careless with his heart condition. Later at home, Shinchai lets her listen to his heartbeat to prove he's fine. That evening, Min Hoi asks Shinchai to leave, but he stays and takes Quan to his room, saying he's tired. When Min Hoi struggles with her dress zipper, Shinchai quietly helps her, covering Quan's eyes and leaving without a word. The next day, Shinchai shows up again, announcing he has moved in. Shocked, Min Hoi threatens him, but Quan defends his dad and cries, begging her not to send Shinchai away. Shinchai claims he can't go home because of flooding. Min Hoi doubts him, but his assistant shows a video that convinces her. When Min Hoi threatens to leave instead, they consider where she could go, even mentioning Dr. Zhou's house. Shinchai rushes there, but Dr. Zhou refuses to hear any secrets about Min Hoi. The next day, Shinchai finds out Min Hoi stayed at Simu's place. Realizing his mistake, he apologizes and leaves. When Min Hoi later mentions going on a blind date, Shinchai knows she's lying but walks away. The following day, Min Hoi prepares for her blind date, while Quan blocks her path with a wall of toys, clearly unhappy about it. Quan blocks Min Hoi and asks what she's wearing, bluntly saying she doesn't look good. Just then, Shinchai calls to say he's busy and can't take Quan. Min Hoi decides to leave Quan with Dr. Zhou, but Quan pretends to have a stomach ache to stop her from going on a blind date. When Min Hoi suggests going to the hospital, Quan immediately sits up, exposing his act. She realizes he's trying to stop her date, so she promises that if he comes along and doesn't like the man, she won't meet him again. At the restaurant, Quan keeps looking for his dad. Shinchai secretly signals him while watching from afar. When the blind date arrives, Quan ignores him. Shinchai gets jealous seeing Min Hoi smile, so he signals Quan to start Plan C, but it fails. Soon, Min Hoi receives a call and discovers the investor is actually Shinchai. Shinchai steps in, introduces himself as Quan's father, and the blind date leaves awkwardly. Min Hoi and Shinchai argue. She tells him to enjoy his day with Quan and walks away. Later, Shinchai pretends to have chest pain to stop Min Hoi from leaving. Quan panics and asks her to give CPR. Shinchai sits up immediately, proving he was acting. Though annoyed, Min Hoi still takes Quan home. Shinchai later believes Min Hoi still cares because she gave Quan heart-shaped chocolates. On another blind date, Min Hoi meets a strange man and leaves early. Chang appears and behaves badly with her, forcing Shinchai to step in and protect her. Min Hoi accuses Shinchai of interfering, while Shinchai says she's dating others just to avoid loving him again. She promises to stop blind dates if he stays away. Shinchai gets hurt during the argument, but hides his pain. Later, Min Hoi helps apply medicine to his injured hand. Shinchai teasingly tells her he just wanted to say her name. Though she warns him to give up on her, she grows worried when his condition worsens. At the hospital, Dr. Zhou assures them Shinchai is stable. Min Hoi scolds him for pretending when he's fine and staying silent when he's not. Shinchai admits he didn't want to worry her. Hearing her say he doesn't need to face things alone makes him happy. When Shinchai wakes up, he sees Min Hoi and Quan by his side. Quan draws a heart on his hand, saying one sick heart can live with another. Min Hoi introduces herself as family, which deeply touches Shinchai. Though he jokes about wanting to stay sick, Min Hoi warns him she'll leave if he doesn't recover soon. Later, Min Hoi brings Quan home, but Quan insists on making heart-shaped sandwiches for Shinchai, believing they'll help him heal. When Shinchai returns home, Min Hoi agrees to stay and take care of him. That night, Shinchai exaggerates his illness to keep them close. Min Hoi stays nearby in case something happens. Though she scolds him for teasing, she still checks on him. The next morning, Shinchai reassures Min Hoi that he won't die because he promised Quan to always stay with them. Later, he surprises Min Hoi with decorative lights as a thank you and promises to support her project. Touched, she admits no one has ever fought for her like that. Shinchai says he never truly left, he was just absent for 5 years. At the hospital, Min Hoi agrees to meet Chong's, who claims he bought her company. Shinchai grows suspicious and follows them. Chong behaves inappropriately, forcing Min Hoi to slap him. Shinchai rescues her and takes her home, comforting her as she breaks down. Min Hoi finally opens up about her past, how Chong once harassed her, ruined her career, and no one believed her. She explains she tolerated him later only because Quan needed urgent treatment. Shinchai listens quietly, promising to handle everything. The next day, Chong is found hospitalized, badly beaten, proof that Shinchai kept his word. Chong accuses Shinchai of trying to impress Min Hoi with money, but Shinchai firmly replies that he already paid for that mistake 5 years ago. He reminds Chong that he once tried to harass Min Hoi and warns him that he has proof, which he can hand over to both the police and the media. Shinchai makes it clear that he will never leave Min Hoi. Unknowingly, Min Hoi hears everything from outside. Later that night, when Shinchai returns home, Min Hoi waits for him near a tree and tells him she heard his words. Shinchai reassures her again that he will always stay by her side. Touched, Min Hoi gives Shinchai a bracelet and asks him to put it on her. He happily does so, and they share a kiss, marking the beginning of their relationship. They spend the night together. The next morning, Min Hoi tries to get up, but Shinchai pulls her back playfully. Suddenly, they notice Quan standing there. He innocently sits between them and jokes that if they're sleeping together, he should too. Shinchai lifts Quan to take him away, but Min Hoi starts dragging him off to kindergarten. Later, Shinchai prepares breakfast. Min Hoi joins him, and he teasingly says her face seems brighter since they got together. He asks her to stay with him and not return home, but she insists on taking Quan back with her. Shinchai pretends to act weak because of his heart condition, making her laugh. Quan joins them at the table, calling Shinchai Dad, which warms the moment. Min Hoi later counts her savings, worried about money. When Shinchai tries to be affectionate, she pushes him away, saying she doesn't have enough funds and doesn't know who to rely on. Shinchai offers to invest heavily in her company, but she refuses, saying she wants to succeed on her own. He cleverly says that his investment will count as hers, and she finally agrees, but only if they keep their relationship private at work. Privately, Min Hoi tells Shinchai that while she won't announce their relationship outside, at home she belongs to him. This makes Shinchai extremely happy. When he tries to kiss her, he slips, then laughs and says their kiss isn't complete. They kiss again, deepening their romance. That night, Quan falls asleep in their room. Shinchai carries him to his own room, telling him he's grown up now. When Shinchai returns, Min-hoi is asleep. He gently kisses her and lies beside her. She wakes up, pulls him close, and their romance continues. One evening, Kwon surprises Min-hoi by tying a blindfold around her eyes and giving her a handmade gift. She becomes emotional when she sees it. Kwon explains that he noticed she'd been worried and wanted to cheer her up. Shinchai jokingly asks where his gift is. Min-hoi blindfolds him and gives him a matching watch. Shinchai happily puts it on. Later, while eating together, Shinchai notices Min-hoi distracted on her phone. She tells him she plans to sell her house to invest in her project. Shinchai is shocked and offers her the money instead, suggesting she move in with him afterward. He gets excited imagining their life together. When his assistant calls, Shinchai leaves with Min-hoi, teasing her and asking for a reward. The next day, a buyer visits Min-hoi's house. After she leaves, Shinchai insists Min-hoi pack her things and move in with him. He excitedly starts packing for her, saying anything left behind can be replaced. However, Min-hoi grows emotional, realizing the house she shared with Kwon will no longer be theirs. Shinchai comforts her, promising they are now a family. She says she'll buy another house someday when she can afford it. Later, Zio approaches Min-hoi, but Shinchai suddenly appears, boldly announcing that he and Min-hoi are officially dating and telling Zio to stay away. Min-hoi smiles and leaves. Zio claims he's no longer interested. Soon after, the house is sold, and Min-hoi takes 3 days to move everything into Shinchai's home. Settling into her new place, Min-hoi relaxes on the sofa and says she's hungry. Shinchai suggests going out to eat and leans in to kiss her, but she gets a call. It's the man from her blind date who plans to invest in her project. Despite Shinchai's discomfort, she reassures him and goes. Shinchai secretly follows her. At the meeting, Min-hoi proudly introduces Shinchai as her boyfriend. Shinchai realizes the investor now knows about their relationship, and Min-hoi promises to inform the company herself. Overcome with emotion, Shinchai kisses her publicly at the mall. Back home, their romance heats up again, but Shinchai's watch suddenly starts beeping due to his rising heart rate. Min-hoi panics, but Shinchai jokes that he's just too excited and pulls her close again. At work, shocking news spreads the company Min-hoi works for has been bought by Chang. Saddened, Min-hoi decides to resign, saying she can't work under Chang. Shinchai supports her decision fully. The next morning, Shinchai and Kwon wear matching outfits and wish her luck, making heart shapes with their hands. Shinchai reminds her that both he and Kwon are always with her. At the office, Min-hoi submits her resignation, but Chung threatens to fire all employees if she leaves. Left with no choice, she withdraws her resignation. Later, Shinchai takes her somewhere special, her old house. He reveals that he bought it so she wouldn't feel sad. Min-hoi is overwhelmed and emotional. Shinchai explains he bought it for Kwon too. When he sees her crying, he apologizes, worried he hurt her feelings. She hugs and thanks him. Shinchai jokingly asks what he'll get in return, and Min-hoi takes him to a stress relief place where people throw objects to release frustration. They laugh and throw things together. Later, they watch a movie. Shinchai cries first, so Min-hoi changes it. Then she starts crying, and he tries to comfort her. Meanwhile, Chang gives his assistant money and orders her to disappear. Furious, she tears up the check and threatens to reveal all his crimes, including what he did to Min-hoi. She gives him 4 days to decide. When she returns home, she finds her belongings searched and realizes Chong was there. Panicked, she searches for a hidden device, but it's gone. Shinchai arrives and moves her to a safer place, away from Chong. Elsewhere, Chong destroys the device he stole and drives off. On the way, he tries to force Min-hoi into his car, but she refuses and argues back. Shinchai arrives just in time and warns Chung again to stay away. At the office, Min-hoi's colleague works late when another coworker, Chung, behaves inappropriately with her. Min Hoi rushes to help and tells her to report him. The next day, Min Hoi publicly confronts Chung and beats him badly in the office, standing up for her colleague and herself. The employees are stunned when a woman arrives with the police and has Chang arrested right in front of everyone. Soon after, Min Hoi meets with an accident while crossing the road when a bike hits her, injuring her leg. She is taken to the hospital. Seeing Shinchai upset, she asks him why he looks so sad. He blames himself, saying if he had arrived earlier, she wouldn't have been hurt. Min Hoi comforts him, saying it's not serious and she just needs some rest. Shinchai promises to take her somewhere special once she recovers. Later, Shinchai brings Min Hoi to a secret place. Jokingly, she asks if he's hiding another woman there. He admits yes and introduces her to Chang's assistant. Shinchai leaves them alone, and Min Hoi tells the assistant she has proof of Chang's crimes. Together, they go live online and expose everything. Soon, the police arrive and arrest Chang. After this, Shinchai buys the company, and Quan proudly tells his friends that his dad owns it. Shinchai openly announces that everything he has belongs to Min Hoi and Quan, and everyone celebrates their happiness. One day, Shinchai tells Min Hoi that he wants to marry her and takes out a ring. Suddenly, he feels severe chest pain, and the ring slips from his hand. Min Hoi rushes him to the hospital, crying in fear. Shinchai reassures her that he'll be fine. She gently encourages him to ask her the question again, but he stays silent. Later, his assistant explains that Shinchai must go abroad for treatment. Shinchai asks for one more day. The next morning, Min Hoi wakes up to find Shinchai gone, but he soon returns, pretending everything is fine. He tells her he's leaving for a business trip. Min Hoi understands the truth that he's going for treatment but doesn't stop him. That day, she surprises him by blindfolding him and asking him to count to 3. When he opens his eyes, he sees a project Min Hoi started for him. She admits she knows he's going for treatment and promises she'll always wait for him. If he loves her, she tells him to look back. As the door opens, Min Hoi walks in and proposes to Shinchai herself, placing the ring on his finger. When she offers her hand, Shinchai smiles and says he'll put the ring on her when he returns. They share a heartfelt kiss. That night, after putting Quan to bed, they talk playfully about who Quan looks like. Quan interrupts, saying he looks like both of them because he's their son. The family falls asleep together, asking why he left without seeing her. He says if he had met them again, he might not have had the strength to go. They say goodbye over the phone. 6 months later, Min Hoi is guided to the top floor of a building by Quan's voice. There, she finds Shinchai waiting for her. They run into each other's arms. Their wedding follows, with Quan proudly standing beside them. While reading his lines during the ceremony, Quan gets stuck and shyly admits he's never read something like this before, making everyone laugh. The ring ceremony is completed, and Quan is told he's lucky to witness his parents' wedding. Shinchai and Min Hoi share a kiss, sealing their happiness. Later, Shinchai takes Min Hoi to a tree where he once wrote his wish. 2 years later, Min Hoi returns to the same place with Quan and their new baby. Shinchai reminds her this is where they first met. Quan excitedly calls the baby his sister, but Min Hoi corrects him, saying it's his brother. Quan insists he wanted a sister. Laughing, Shinchai agrees they can try again, making Min Hoi playfully hit him. As their newborn starts crying, the story ends on a warm, happy note.